Hey Homeworthy, my name's Stephanie. Welcome to my home here in Ohio. I can't wait to show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name's Stephanie Boyer. I'm a realtor and interior designer. Welcome to my home in University Heights, Ohio. We purchased this home in 2011 when I became pregnant with our first child. We lived in an awesome old apartment with lots of character, so we were looking for that same kind of style without buying something too large, and this is where we ended up, and we love it. Well, during the time we were looking for homes, I was very pregnant, probably from about 4 months pregnant to almost 9 months pregnant. We looked at over 60 homes, and it wasn't that I was just drawn to this home or layout or style. It was just a vibe. I go off of vibes, and this was the first home that just felt good. I did have a vision for it without doing many renovations. We were young. I had no intentions on renovating anything, to be honest. I just wanted to come in and style it as it is. But I was really drawn to our large window in the living room and the hardwood floors, as well as some of the details and the trim and the molding, kind of like that old style. I really love old homes. So this was perfect for us as a family of 3 at the time, and I just really loved the neighborhood. So this is one of my favorite Facebook Marketplace finds. My home is filled with Facebook Marketplace finds. I got this table, these 2 vintage lamps, as well as another table and a lamp that aren't in here, but I got it all for $10. So this I put behind the sofa so that I could have little slippers and shoe covers in here for guests, because we are a no shoe home. And this ottoman, it's actually from Taub Furniture, and it has all of our furry blankets and everything for winter when we're cuddling up on the couch, or even in summertime with the air conditioning blasting. All of our blankets for the living room are in there. This area, I actually got this on Facebook Marketplace too. This is a project piece that I haven't started painting or anything yet, but I got this to house my son's gaming computer. He loves gaming, and I didn't want him just up in his room or up in the basement. We're a really close family, and I just wanted to make sure he was always with the family. So his whole setup is in here, and I just added these knobs for now, and it keeps his stuff hidden because I don't want to see it. But he's always hanging out and kind of is cut off because the door is open, and he can be in here with sound on, and we can still watch TV or sit by the fire, whatever we're doing, without having interruptions towards each other. So for now, I just kind of decorated. I found this art piece. This vase is from H&M. And I just have some of my favorite magazines and a magazine holder here. And this built-in bookshelf. It has a lot of my kids' books on it, a lot of my husband and I's books also, but I just kind of color coordinated them. You can't see it well, but the back of the bookshelf is actually painted black and white stripes. It was just a project I did years ago. But that houses a lot of our books. We're a big book family, so I have books everywhere. We all love to read. And I just like the color contrast of this. This planter is another one of my Facebook Marketplace finds. I actually painted this myself. I got 2 of these planters for 40 bucks on Facebook, and they were just really dingy. I spray painted them a matte black and then painted these white lines on here to kind of mimic the rug in the living room. I just recently moved the plant over here because I painted my fireplace black, and I just like the pop of green against black. This is also another Facebook Marketplace find, vintage, $5 I got this. And I just swapped out the old one we had. The old one we had was just like iron, and it didn't pop against the fireplace. So this is another one of my favorite finds because I like the brass together. This is also another Facebook Marketplace find, one of my favorites. I got this for 20 bucks and I have been looking for this exact mirror for many, many years. My mother-in-law actually has the same one. And growing up, my mother decorated with, you know, cranes and different type of birds and a little bit of Asian flair. And so I've always been really attracted to that. So this piece was really special when I finally found the exact one I wanted and I was able to put it over my fireplace. As we move into the living room, I just want to show you around. This was a really hard space for me to design. This room is awkward, which you will find in a lot of older homes, but the fireplace is just not in the middle of the room. And so when we moved in, I was trying to figure out the best way to style this room to where we could be comfortable and enjoy the fireplace without the television being over the fireplace. So we've always had a sectional. This one's maybe four or 5 years old. I've always had the sectional facing this wall because we put our TV here and it's on a kind of like swinging TV mount, and you can also pull it out, turn it any kind of way. We turn it towards the dining room a lot. We angle it this way depending on the glare of the sun. But everyone always asks, why didn't I center it? And I just didn't want to be limited to what I could do on this wall. We have very limited wall space in this room. This is the only full wall. This wall's fireplace and 2 entryways. There's no wall there. And then back behind me is a very large window. So I put this here purposely so that we can turn it to the sectional, turn it to the dining room if we're all hanging out in there, and I can still display things. I love books, like I mentioned before. I love decor. A lot of these pieces I've had for a long time, and I just wanted to be able to have as much on this wall as I possibly could without the TV being the center focus. This is another one of my Facebook Marketplace finds from quite a few years ago. I got this for $35. It's actually a vintage founder's dresser in impeccable condition. I do paint a lot of the old vintage furniture I find, but this was in such good condition I would never ruin this. And so this actually houses my children's toys. I always say this is a very adult space. It's a lot of my stuff. I do have 3 kids, but just to give you an example, like all of my son's Hot Wheel toys are here. This drawer is all of his train tracks. Every drawer has a purpose. There's the puzzles, board games, Uno cards, all kinds of things in here. And I just keep each drawer organized by what type of thing, what type of toy it is. Another one of my favorite little things, and this was just very impulsive. I made this frame for the TV. I don't even know. It was probably under 20 bucks, but I ordered these little corners from Amazon and I just stapled these black pieces together, these wood pieces, I shall say, and I painted them black. Just threw it up around the TV one day. I just got the idea. So I really like the way that it looks. Kind of just goes with the style of the dresser. Another one of my favorite Facebook Marketplace finds is this pedestal. I got a really good deal on this. It's so solid and heavy, but I've been looking for a marble pedestal forever. And I found this one. I don't know if it's actually real marble, but it definitely looks like it. So that, my plant used to be here and I kind of swapped it out and just filled it with these little fake pieces of moss. This bookshelf, funny story, is from At Home several years ago. It was the last one on display. It had like a few nicks on it and they gave it to me for a crazy good price, under $100, because they were discontinued. So I couldn't find another one. I got the last one and I'm gonna keep this piece probably forever. It has a lot of my books and my favorite things on here that I like to just kind of stare at and get inspiration from and add pops of color to the room. This, I would say, is my favorite piece. My second favorite piece would have to be this boom box my sister got. She just bought it off the streets of New York City when she lived there, and it just, I get the most compliments on the actual boom box versus everything else on here. Some of these other pieces are things that I've had. This Buddha head I had probably, it's been probably close to 20 years. It was in my very first apartment. And I've carried it to every apartment and house since then. All these books I kind of just strategically picked based on things that I like, but also the colors. And yes, I do look through my coffee table books. I've looked through probably every single one. I actually have like cut out art pieces from some of them. But I do actually read these, and so do my kids. They like to look through the pictures, especially my daughter. But anytime I'm just curled up on the couch and I need inspiration, I will grab a book and just kind of flip through the pages or read if it's something I haven't read before. This disco ball is also another Facebook Marketplace find. I got this for 10 bucks one day. Drove an hour to get it. It goes from room to room wherever the sun is shining, and we have a lot of fun with it. But it really just brightens your day when the sun's hitting it and you got all the reflections on the walls and ceilings. So I move it from time to time, but most of the time it's usually in here in the living room. Another one of my Facebook Marketplace finds is this coffee table. It actually is pretty scratched up, but I wasn't worried about that because I know my kids are going to be playing cars on it. We're going to be playing board games. It's going to be ruined. So I did grab it just because I really love the look of it. I was told it was vintage, but I'm not sure. I couldn't find any maker's marks on it, but it was 30 bucks. It fit the style of the room. And like I said, I knew between my dog and my children, we were going to scratch it anyway. So I bought it, even though it does have quite a bit of scratches on the smoky glass, but we love this table. I typically don't style my coffee table. This stuff just happens to be randomly here today. I try to keep my coffee table empty just because I do have a lot going on everywhere else. I don't like every surface to be full, but my kids were playing with this little acrylic Jenga set, and we have a photo album here as well as one of my favorite books. And I just recently got these candle holders from HomeGoods. They don't have candles yet, but again, I do love anything teal. So I couldn't pass these up. So I can't wait to get some cute candles to put in there and kind of light them for ambiance in the evening. So I get a lot of compliments on these pillows. I got them both from HomeGoods. Again, pink. I don't know how I've ended up with so much pink, but it works. I'm not a huge fan of pink, but I do love the pink that's in my home. I also love any kind of animal print. So these were both these pillows were from HomeGoods. I just recently painted this accent wall. For many years, these walls were gray and the fireplace wall was black since before we even moved in. That was something we did before we moved in. We painted all the walls. And so for years, I was trying to figure out what I could do with this wall, especially because I know there's a lot going on. And I'm a bit of I would say I'm a curated maximist. So I wanted to kind of figure out a color and a style that would complement everything that I had going on because I was not willing to move any of the furniture that I had. So we went with a teal wall, which I absolutely love. And we did these slats to just kind of break it up. No rhyme or reason. I literally just started where my wire hider is and where the wires are hidden, and I just went from there, and we really love the way it turned out. I like the contrast of the black against the teal, and it ties in the rest of the black walls in this room. So I decorated my home with a lot of colors. I love colors. I love black and white. I love the contrast of black and white. I'm drawn to it in fashion, in clothes, in art. I love the contrast of black and white. So in every room, I kind of started with a base of black and white, and I added in my colors. My favorite color is teal, so you will see that probably throughout every room in my home. The pink just kind of went with it. I love brass, I love gold. I will always love brass and gold no matter what's in style. So I kind of played on that as well. I also love black. So before we even moved in, I painted certain walls black, and that's because I've had black walls, I don't know, since I was 20, so it's been probably 20 years. I love black walls with white trim. I just love it. And so I knew, I didn't have a plan here, but I knew that that's where I was gonna start. So next, I'd like to take you into the dining room. The dining room is one of my favorite spaces. Every party we have, families always gathered around this table. This table is another one of my favorite pieces. It's a vintage Henredon table, maybe 1970. So Facebook Marketplace. This was actually being offered for free. Again, it was like pretty scratched up, which I didn't care because my house is just as much mine as my kids, and they paint here, they make slime here, they play with cars here, so I knew they were gonna damage it anyways. So as soon as I saw it, I ran down and grabbed it. I actually got the middle leaf for it as well, which can't wait to use that at the next house in a much bigger dining room. But it was wood, and I don't know if the previous owner was using it maybe as like a paint table, art table. He had no idea, you know, just how valuable this table was, or that it was Henredon or anything. So there was paint splashed all over the wood legs. So I just painted it black versus trying to restore the wood. And it is just, I get a lot of compliments on it. It's one of my favorite things. I love the mirror because it just reflects light. We can fit, you know, 8 people around here easily, for birthday parties and everything else. Many nights playing with family, Pokino and other games here. Lots of laughs, lots of memories, good food and drinks. So this is honestly probably something I will keep forever and try to incorporate into my decor forever. A lot of the pieces that I buy, I laugh because they're very large, and this is only a 1,700 square foot house. But I always say, you know, in the next house, I do have major plans for every single piece here. Another Facebook Marketplace find, which it's kind of funny because I purchased these chairs originally maybe back in 2009, 2010 from IKEA. I actually had the ones with the arms on them. And when we moved here in 2011, I brought them here. I kept them because you can remove the covers and wash them. So we just had a baby. I knew that kids were gonna be making messes on my chair. So I just said, we'll keep these for as long as possible. So I did have them. I had 6 of them for probably up until maybe 2 years ago. I came across a Facebook Marketplace post of a woman with the same chairs, and hers were in impeccable condition at the time, versus mine that had gone through 3 babies, toddler, high chair, food, paint, slime, everything, you name it. So I immediately went and bought these 6 from her. Now, these don't have the arms on them, but I'm so obsessed with this print. I just wasn't ready to let mine go, so I couldn't believe that I found someone that had the exact same chairs, and they had been sitting in a conference room for literally 12 years, just barely used. So it was like getting brand new chairs. They are not in brand new condition anymore. Like I mentioned, if you look closely, there's food, there's paint. So I will probably be replacing these pretty soon, but these are one of my favorite IKEA prints that got discontinued a long time ago, and I'm just trying to suck the life out of these as long as I can. My curtains, again, I ordered black velvet curtains from Amazon. Same ribbon. I used double-sided tape, and I attached this ribbon to match the ribbon in my living room and entryway to kind of tie the curtains in together. The teal curtains were actually in this room first, and I I didn't like the look. And so I was afraid to go with black, believe it or not, because I thought it would be too dark, but I'm actually obsessed. I love these, and it was kind of my husband's idea too. But I do love the look of the velvet, and I love the special touch of this ribbon. One of my Facebook Marketplace finds was this dresser. I actually got this for free as well. And I painted it this color. And again, this houses my kids' toys. I have 2 boys, so we have tons of cars. This has, like, my daughter has 2 art drawers here of just, this one's full to the brim, but my daughter has 2 art drawers of just like all her little markers and art supplies. We have a drawer for Legos only, as well as every other drawer is organized based on the type of toy, because I like my kids to be able to play and enjoy the space, but put it away so we don't have to see it. So even though there's a lot of my stuff out, they have complete free reign of the house, as long as you clean up after yourself. Another Facebook Marketplace find, these lamps. So I actually got both lamps, I think, for $5. And they were like a beige and blue, but I was really attracted to the size of them. And I kind of recreated my own version of the famous Kelly Wearstler lamps, and I glued these knobs on with super glue, spray painted them black. I purchased shades from At Home, and I added my own gold finial and the lamp base from Amazon. To give it a little more height, and just, you know, I love black, I love gold. And so I made these lamps, and it's funny because everyone always asks where I got them, and I'm like, hey, you know, I made them for really good price. So these are another one of my favorite Facebook Marketplace finds. This area is not really styled to perfection, but I do think that it takes time. I love fresh flowers, I love vases, I love books, so this is kind of just hanging out here, but I'm not done with it. This print is one of my favorite. I ordered this from Amazon, but the artist does sell his prints on Society6 and other websites as well. And this just really stuck out to me. I love her sleeves and the jewels, as well as the colors. I don't typically like red in my house. But last year I partnered with Behr to reveal their 2025 color of the year. And it is actually my little dry bar, my makeshift dry bar over there. So when I saw the red, I kind of wanted to tie the 2 colors in, because I don't plan on repainting that anytime soon. One of my fun finds is this shelf from HomeGoods. It was originally well over $1,000, and I kept going back, and it was being marked down like every week, and nobody was purchasing it. So I kept checking back until it went down to $100. And this was maybe, I don't know, 9-10 years ago. And I was able to get it. It had some scratches and damage on it, but I knew that I was going to have it covered with my things, because I love things. And so this is one of those pieces too that I'm going to hold on until it falls apart. But it does have some of my favorite glassware. These are just, you know, nothing special, but from HomeGoods. But I really love the detail, and I love the color. And some of my favorite books. This plate set I've had for probably 10-15 years. It's just, I don't know why I love it so much, but like I said, anything animal print in the right style, I will buy. And so this is just some of the stuff that I like to display and not let my kids touch. So over here is the bar that I mentioned before. So this actually was a cabinet with a white door on it. It was actually all white. It had a door similar to the door leading to my sunroom, and I took it off. And so last year when I announced the color of the year for Behr, rumors, I was really excited to paint this cabinet turned bar in the color. And I just kind of just styled it. We're not huge drinkers, but like I said, when we have parties, this gets a lot of use, and I changed the style throughout the year or to match with different holidays. And there's a nice storage under here, which I have painted the inside of this, and just has extra stuff, glasses, as well as decor that's not in use. But like I mentioned before, it's This house is almost 85 years old, so things are a little old and worn, but I did add this brass detailing. This is just, it's metal, but it's sticky on the back. It's like tape. And I got it off Amazon, so I just wanted to kind of break up the red and have a little pop of brass there. Here, one thing about me is I will swap art out like crazy. These are just ripped out of a magazine. I really was attracted to her face. I think it's really beautiful and striking, and I like that her face is in the magazine that this girl's wrapping her flowers in. So I just ripped them out of a magazine one day, and I framed them for the time being until I find something better, I guess. So this is also a Facebook Marketplace find. So it's funny because when I saw this posted, I went and immediately picked it up. And the seller was looking for a realtor, which I'm a realtor, and we became really close. And I actually sold her house and got her in a condo. And so this piece is just really special to me because she is very special to me. And this is another Henredon chest. So this is another forever piece. It had a little bit of damage on it and some scratches, so I did paint it black and added tassels like I do to everything else, polished up the brass the best that I could. And this is another one of those storage situations where kids' toys are in here. Some of my candles are in here, and then the rest is kids' toys organized by type of toy. So a lot of storage throughout my pieces because this house just has no storage. So that is my main reason for buying these large pieces, knowing they're probably slightly oversized for the space, but I need the storage for my kids and to be able to function. So this basketball hoop is one of my favorite pieces. I laugh because a lot of people ask for it, and I got it on a website called Culture Kings. I think it was shipped from Australia during the pandemic. And so they sold out like very quickly and you couldn't get another one. And so I know there's some other companies that make it, but it's just one of those things too that I'll probably hang on forever and pass it to my son. He can hang it in his room or something like that. Here I just have extra plates. I couldn't pass up on these plates, so I got the plates, the salad plates and the bowls and everything from H&M. I just really like the pattern. It kind of mimics my wallpaper, so I just have those up there for display. This light fixture, I get a lot of compliments and questions about it. So this is an old IKEA shade that I actually purchased probably right when I moved in this house. So the original chandelier is under here and it's not attractive at all. And so it took me years to kind of find something I liked, and I just never kind of jumped and swapped out the light. So instead I was able to put this shade just around it by cutting the top of it and sitting it right over top of the original chandelier. And I don't think I'll ever change it. I like it so far more than any other chandelier that I've come across, and it just works for the space. When I became pregnant with our second child, my daughter, I knew I no longer wanted to work in corporate America. I was working at US Bank Home Mortgage at the time. So I decided to get my real estate license. The realtor that helped us find this house, the one that actually kind of recruited me, and so I've been a realtor since 2016. From that, I started really getting into interior design. I won't credit it all to real estate. A lot of it is from my mother. But after, you've seen so many houses, I really started getting into interior design and staging, and I've been doing that over the last 3-4 years as well. I'd love to show you my sunroom next. I do want to point out tassels. You will see tassels everywhere in my house. I purposely picked this to match the bar because it's almost the same color as Rumors. So I just threw that on the doorknob for added flair. So this sunroom We found out this was originally an outside porch without walls. It was added on probably some point in the 90s, maybe a little later. I wallpapered these 3 walls and just to kind of spruce it up back here. It has old windows. We don't come out here a lot because there is no heat. I think the previous owners at some point just kind of enclosed this in the cheapest way possible. So all of these walls were actually wood paneling when we moved in, really ugly wood paneling. And so we did drywall all of the walls except for this one. I kept the paneling because I thought it was kind of fun, accent wall. And so this wallpaper is from Walls Republic. I painted this black, painted the ceiling black, and we just put peel and stick tile back here since it's kind of like, I just feel like we're very close to the outdoors back here. There's no heat, no vents back here, so we use this a lot in the summer. I will actually open all the windows and sit here and read while my kids play. This was a really hard, awkward room to style, to decorate, because I just didn't know what to do with it. It's not huge, but this dresser, my infamous dresser, this was actually in the dining room, and I swapped the 2 dressers because I like that dark teal better than this one. But I got this from my in-laws. Actually own a lot of rental properties, and one of their tenants left this behind. And so they asked me just to come look at it. When I got there, I realized it was a Drexel Heritage dresser, vintage, worth a lot, good condition, except the top was really, really damaged, damaged beyond repair. So that's why I decided to paint it. And so I went with this color, and this kept my kids' toys for many, many years. So it's very chipped up and, you know, well loved, I guess you could say. But it had their toys in it. It still has some toys, but most of this now is just all of my favorite magazines. I'm really big on magazines, and like I collected all the IKEA catalogs. I come here in the summer and I will just read while my kids are playing outside. I cozy up on here. Most of the time I have a blanket back here because it does get breezy and chilly even when it's hot. Because there's a lot of shade back here. But I will just bring snacks, a drink, and cuddle up on this chair and watch them play and just kind of hang out. This is kind of just turned into my own just random space. So there are some of my favorite things in here. This is one of my favorite art pieces. It's just from Wayfair. But the colors, I love the teal. I love this light purple, my little touches of pink in here. This just makes me happy to look at. Another favorite piece is this from Oliver Gal. They made this specially for me with my name on it when we partnered, and so this just is one of those things that makes me happy too. Down here I have this acrylic chest that I bought from Home Goods, and I actually had no idea what I was going to do with it. I thought I was going to fill it with a bunch of coffee table books, but it ended up filled with disco balls. And so in the evening, the sun comes in and hits literally right here, and this room lights up. So in the summer, you get like maybe 2 hours from 6 to 8 of just this glorious glow in here. And so you can find me in here almost every evening in the summer reading magazines or books about decor, maybe have a glass of wine, and it's my happy space. This is another one of my recent Facebook Marketplace finds. I got this just a couple months ago. I did a little research and found out that it's, I think it's called a California lamp, but they go for several $100s. So I didn't want to paint this because I originally planned to paint it, but I did paint the lampshade. The lampshade was just like a brown wicker. I spray painted it black, and it just elevated this lamp, and it's one of my favorite things. I honestly would not have had it back here in the sunroom. I would have rather had it in my bedroom or entryway, but it's so huge. I don't even have anywhere for it to go. I do get to use the lamp a lot in the evenings. Since spring, I've been coming out here, and I'll be out here all summer. So I have been turning on the lamp every evening, and I do have string lights behind this dresser that I illuminate with as well. And it's just like the coziest spot to hang out and watch my kids play all evening, run around. Another of my favorite things is this dragon. It's I don't want to say there's any special meaning because it's just from Home Goods, but growing up, my mother had a lot of Asian decor, and so I don't know if it's one of those things that's comfortable for me. It feels like home. It's just a happy thing, and I know dragons are good luck. So this dragon, my husband bought for me around Christmas. And my son, my youngest son, who's 5, accidentally broke it about a month later. And so I posted it on my Instagram to see if someone could find another one because I went to almost every Home Goods in Northeast Ohio. My mother traveled to Pennsylvania and Michigan and couldn't find one. And I had so many people reach out that found one, that found them in their cities and states. I mean, Las Vegas, Louisiana, someone from New Jersey, and they were all offering to ship it to me. And so it was just like, it made me a little emotional because my followers are so sweet. But when I talked to one follower in particular, she said she found it at HomeSense. So I called the local HomeSense here, and sure enough, it was there, and I was able to go get it. So it's just funny because it just has a little backstory. And so my youngest son always talks about the broken dragon. So he's in here because he's safe and my kids don't come in here a lot. But I do love to look at him. Entertaining is very important to us. We are very close with family, my side of the family as well as my husband's side of the family. Our parents are great friends. So we do a lot of parties here. Every birthday party that all 3 of my children have had since they turned 1 has been here. Baby showers, we do New Year's Eve every year, as well as just things throughout the year. But I love to entertain. I love having people over. I love when my kids have their friends over. It just feels good. Next, I'd like to show you my kitchen. So right off the dining room is the kitchen. There used to actually be a swinging door here that we removed just for the sake of little fingers. My kids like to run circles in this space from the living room to the kitchen. And so we didn't want fingers being caught. So we took the door off. We didn't make that many changes in here. When we moved in, everything was just kind of new. I know that the cabinets were the original cabinets, but they put on these just cheap new doors. For the sake of not wasting anything, I never really wanted to renovate in here, especially because I couldn't do what I would want to do in here. It's not large. So I do make best use of the space while still having my decor on the counters because it makes me happy. But all I did was paint the countertops. These were like a faux granite. And I added just a peel and stick backsplash for the time being. This isn't our forever home. I didn't want to put the money into trying to renovate in here. But I did get all new appliances, new faucet to just kind of elevate it, new handles on the cabinets, and I painted the bottom black, the top white. Over here, I added this wallpaper from Levette's Wallpaper. And this is a Kate Spade lamp that I actually got on Facebook Marketplace. I put a mirror on this wall just to kind of make the space bigger because this is not a large kitchen. These 2 prints are 2 of my favorite things. It's funny because they match the wallpaper in the Eden part of the kitchen and the wallpaper here. So I cut these out of one of the books on my coffee table because not only are they gorgeous pieces of art, but I just couldn't get over the fact that it's the 2 wallpaper prints in my actual kitchen. This little area is the Eden area. I've always wanted to do just like a banquette in here or, you know, some type of breakfast nook. And before I was able to do that, I got this cabinet from Habitat for Humanity. I think I paid $35 for this cabinet. And I knew that I wanted it to be a pantry. I will show you in a minute where our pantry used to be. I turned that into just like a little seating area. And so this right now is probably very messy in there. But all of our snacks, canned goods, chips, all my husband's health stuff is all in there. I tinted these windows so you couldn't see it as well. I did have black paper on the inside as well, so you couldn't see it all, but I recently took it off, and I'll probably add it back. But there's a ton of storage in here, and just everything extra that I needed to store is in there. I added this table from Wayfair, and these benches are actually from Temu, and believe it or not, our whole family of 5 can fit in here and play games, hang out, talk. My kids eat breakfast here. It's my oldest son's favorite spot to do his homework. So I just put some fun art in here and a lamp just to make it cozy. Like I said, I'm a maximalist, so I wanted to fill this space as much as possible, as small as it is. These 2 pieces of art are 2 of my favorites. This is from a local artist in Cleveland, Glenn Infante. I hope I'm saying that right. The green, you know, I just had to have this. The pink, I love Tupac, I love Biggie, and the donuts. It just made sense for the kitchen. So this is one of my favorite spots. My curtains are literally just 84-inch velvet curtains that I flipped up over the rods that were already here, just the cheap white rods from like Walmart. The previous owner had them there, and so I just kind of flipped the curtains up like that because my mom used to do that when we were younger. So it's just one of those things that makes me feel good. I don't know if it's in style, and maybe one day I will get Roman shades, but I do love the look of the curtains just kind of flipped like that. I do plan to update the appliances probably again. I actually have some on back order, black appliances with gold handles. So I can't wait for that to arrive and kind of upgrade the space a little more. So this actually used to be the pantry. There was a door here. I did a horrible job of patching where the hinges were, but it's one of the earlier projects I did before I really knew what I was doing. But there were 5 shelves in here, and there's actually a laundry chute as well. And I couldn't stand the fact that this is our side entryway, and so you come in and you have nowhere to drop things. I have 3 kids with backpacks, shoes, so they can throw their shoes under there temporarily, hang their backpacks, hang bags, purses, whatever, sit here, put your shoes on, and then just storage. My husband always throws his stuff up there. But it just works so much better. What I love most about my home is, it's hard to say, but I think the fact that all 3 of my children came home from the hospital to this house. It's very sentimental for me. We are actually really growing out of this house as a family of 5, but I'm very attached because it's just where my children call home. It's all that they know. And we've made just the most amazing memories here. So it's more of just a feeling and a vibe that is my favorite thing about my home. I love every room, I love every corner, but it is just mainly the feeling that this is my kids' home and they love it just as much as I do. So next, I'd love to show you my bedroom. So this is my bedroom. These are actually IKEA dressers that I painted Wild Pansy by Bear. I bought these maybe 11, 12 years ago because I just needed extra storage. We do have 2 closets, but this is an old house. They are just, there's not a lot of storage in them. Even though they're rather large, there's just the smallest little space for you to hang clothes. So I got these for my husband and I. He has one, I have one. And then this kind of houses all of my extra clothes, small purses, a lot of my boots are in there. And I just spray painted the handles gold, which they're starting to chip, but this is one of my favorite projects. And I love that the TV is kind of over it, but there's still a lot going on the wall, so your focus isn't the TV. This is another one of my Facebook Marketplace finds, this desk. I love campaign anything. But I sit here, I do work here, and this little stool is just storage. Sometimes I'll do my makeup here in this little mirror. I'm not really into makeup a lot, so it doesn't take much, but this is one of my favorite little areas. My nightstands are also vintage Facebook Marketplace. These are Drexel Heritage. I added tassels. I don't keep much on here, just little carafe of water, books that I like to look through. Here, my bed. I picked these pillows just to match the IKEA dressers that I painted. This headboard is originally from Amazon. It's velvet. These I made with velvet and cardboard and just foam, just to add height. I really wanted a new bed, and I had only had this bed for maybe a couple years, so I felt guilty. So I just added those behind to kind of mimic the shape and add some height and drama to this wall. I love this wallpaper. You can't go wrong. It's classic. These lamps are also a Facebook Marketplace find. They were $25. I spray painted them and painted the lampshades. They're very old, so the lampshades are really starting to deteriorate, so I'm gonna have to replace them. But I added a necklace. I bought these necklaces on Amazon just to add something fun, something gold. Another one of my favorite pieces is the sofa. It's from IKEA. I purchased it and then they immediately discontinued this cover. It's the clip-in sofa. I searched the internet and I found another cover in Denmark and paid a ridiculous amount to get it here. And then I put the sofa in the sunroom at the time, not realizing that the sun would fade the entire top. So I searched the internet for months, found one more. I feel like it was like the last one on earth, and it was from someone in Canada. I bought it. It's on here. This is my last one. And so I'm hanging on to this as long as I can. So I did not intend to have a sofa at the end of my bed, but I didn't want this in an area where my kids would be on it all the time, or like eating, or guests with blue jeans. So we actually do sit here a lot and watch TV. I curl up here just like Saturday afternoon and read or sit on my phone. So it is one of my absolute favorite things. Another one of my favorite things, and this is another Facebook Marketplace find. This mirror is insane. I'm sure it weighs 300 or 400 pounds, but I got this mirror for $50 on Facebook Marketplace. I drove over an hour to go get it. Had no idea that it was this large or this heavy, but the purple is what drew me. I like to use different shades of purple in my bedroom. So we had to actually hire someone to get this hung, and it was very, very intense. We chipped a corner of it. This thing's not coming down. I don't know exactly how we're gonna get it out when we move. But it's definitely coming to every house with me, and I will probably keep this mirror forever. I've never seen anything like it. I wasn't able to find out exactly where it was from or who made it, but I think possibly it's an old Z Gallery mirror. But I just love the drama that it adds to the room, and it's just kind of tucked away, so in case it were to fall, it's not gonna land on someone. But it is, I would say that is my absolute favorite Facebook Marketplace find. So just to kind of peek inside my closet, I did use the same wallpaper, but in a lavender. And my husband, I spray painted these old shoe racks. These are actually not meant to go on the wall, but he kind of rigged away and nailed them in the wall. But I just thought this was fun to have the same wallpaper, just in a different color. This is the entryway of my home. This is where all the guests come in, so I wanted this to be really impactful. Leading up to the stairs, this little entryway table, as well as this leads into my kitchen and down to another door. So all of these walls kind of match, I guess you could say. I wallpapered this to match the inside of the entryway, to match this, as well as a small seating area that's in my other hallway. So these curtains, I actually added this ribbon myself, just for an added flair. Like I mentioned before, I love anything black and white. Teal is my favorite color, so I added the ribbon with a double-sided tape. This is my fiddle leaf fig that I've been hanging on to for the last couple of years, keeping her alive, and I just like this little pop of greenery in front of the window. This entryway table is actually one of my Facebook Marketplace finds. I painted this vintage campaign dresser in this sapphire blue, and it actually holds all of my kids' shoes. So not all of them, their main shoes that they wear to school. Just to keep things out of the way, we have limited space. We have a small coat closet. And I just didn't want it overflowing with shoes. So each kid gets a drawer and they have their shoes in there. This is one of my favorite lamps. I actually broke it and kind of glued it back together just because I could not find another one, but it was all white. The lampshade was white. This was white. I spray painted this pink, and I used fabric paint on this shade and added a tassel. And I love the little pop of pink that matches all of my art on the gallery wall going up the stairs. This wall, it's actually funny. I've always had a mirror here because there's an actual alcove behind here that I wallpapered over, and our old thermostat, there's a little piece left from it, so I just like to kind of hide that. But I like the idea of having a mirror in the entryway. It just makes the space bigger and brighter, and I can check myself going in and out of the house. This is one of my favorite art pieces. This is, I believe the artist's name is Natalie O Decor, and I've had this for years. It's just, I love looking at it. But it's also strategically placed because it hides a little part of the alcove behind here. And then I just threw some books on here, shoes, of course, because my kids' shoes are in there. And these pieces are from HomeGoods. And so this little ottoman is one of my favorite pieces as well. This is from At Home Stores quite a few years ago. My mom actually got it for me for my birthday. And it's just so that we can kind of sit here and put on our shoes or drop a purse, drop bags. It's just like a little landing spot, and it just adds some color and texture to this fun space. These are the original hardwood floors. They were in really good condition when we bought the house. This house is almost 85 years old, and hardwood floors and a fireplace were my two must-haves when we were looking. And so yes, every room except for the kitchen and sunroom has the original hardwood floors, and they're all in really good condition. Home means to me a place that you never want to leave. This is my place of comfort. This is my happy place. I'm a homebody. I don't care so much about traveling and vacation, but if I could just curl up in my pajamas on a rainy day and be home, that is the best feeling. Here with my family, watching our favorite shows or playing games, and we're all just hanging out, which we do a lot. That's the feeling of home for me. Homeworthy, it was so fun having you here in my home, but it's time to go.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and